website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Hey, so there are only basically 3 ways of practicing. Most people use the first one and get very little results. The next group is even fewer people and they get some results. The last group get all the results. But it's like, it's like 75% use the first ineffective way and then, like 20%. And then you got the last little group of people there who uses the last. So what are they? Right, that's interesting. What are those 3 ways of practicing? The first one is dabbling. And that's what most people do. They don't have a plan. They just basically say, okay, let me pick up my guitar and see what I feel like playing. Or they just, they scramble the internet, look for stuff that inspires them and start practicing whatever inspires them at the moment. So they're basically having a bit of fun with this instrument, right? But there's no direction really. They might think there's a direction because I'm practicing soloing. So how are you practicing soloing? Well, I'm practicing licks. I'm just, picking up on licks. Yeah. What licks? Well, licks. Like yesterday I practiced this lick. Today I'm sort of practicing, but I'm getting bored with the first, so I'm moving on to a second and so on. It is dabbling. But you think you have a plan, but you don't. So why not? Well, because it's not specific and it's not targeted at a specific goal of mastery, which you can attain very quickly if you have that goal and that focus. Okay, so that's the first group. You pick up your guitar, you start playing stuff, right? And symptomatic of that group is people don't progress. It's like it's so slow. It's like, it's like almost like it's inexisting. You can't really feel that you're progressing because it's so slow that from one year to another, it's like, right? There is progress and you get used to it over time so you don't really recognize it. And gradually you develop the ability, or not the ability, but the identity of a person who does not get better at guitar even though I'm playing every day, right? Then that's the second group, and that's the group of the routine, right? Can you give me a practice routine? Where being a guitar player is like you have to have different skills, right? You have to be able to play rhythm. There's chords. There's soloing and scales, and there's all kinds of things, and theory and techniques, alternate picking, sweep picking. Could you give me a routine, like where I can practice everything and then do it a little each time? So every day I know exactly, like fitness, like you go into the gym and you do this exercise for X number of time, then move on to the other, and then you grow your muscles. Well, practicing guitar is nothing like in the gym. You can use that analogy sometimes for some things. But when it comes to going into the gym and doing different exercises for each muscle group, and you apply that to guitar playing and practicing, it's over. Because that's not how you will definitely get better, right? You will, because this group, because they have a system, they will actually get better. Because the system is also having focus. You know exactly what is it I'm practicing every day. I got 10 minutes of scale practice. I got 10 minutes of this technique, then 10 minutes of another technique. Then I got 10 minutes or 15 minutes of chords. And then I'm done, right? I've been in the gym. I can relax. And then the next day you do the same things. And that's a focus to some degree. You're not any longer just driven by whatever you want to play in the moment. And you don't just skip to the next thing every time you're bored with one thing. You have this idea that if I do this routine for X number of weeks or months, then I will approach the destination I want to get to, right? And so you keep doing it with that in mind of getting there. You don't. When you're in the moment and you just practice whatever, then you're not out there. You're not aiming for anything. You're just playing whatever, right? So the key here is time perspective, basically. The longer the time perspective, the more power you can have, right? Because if you're willing to take in time, what can you achieve in 2 minutes, right? When it comes to this, what can you achieve in a year? And what can you achieve if you really know where you want to be in a year? And if you're willing to give up some of the other things that are less important to you, so you have focus on 1 or 2 things that you want to achieve at the level of mastery in 12 months, then you have power. That's amazing what you can achieve then. and what level of skill you can get to. The routine is focus and not focus. And the next group, the last group, which is the few people here, is the ones, and you've been hearing me say this a lot, but I'm just going to say it until you get it. And I know you get it, but basically it's also me getting it, because the human mind will lead you astray all the time, right? And I'm led astray as well. So I need to remind myself of these concepts constantly. If not, I'm dabbling, right? So the third group, and the most effective group to be in, is the ones that have a project. You work in projects. So let's say you have a year, right? You got 12 months, and I'm not asking you to have 12-month goals. I'm just saying, let's say you look at your past year. And that year should be projects that you committed to and followed through on. Some you completed, some you didn't. But the whole thing was about projects. It was not like, okay, I'm going to practice this routine over and over again where I practice a little of each. No. You know, when you get down to it like that, when you take that much and play it in, or practice it in just one day, it becomes ineffective. But if you take that same routine, let's say you're practicing 6 different things in your daily routine. You take those 6 things out and you spend 2 months on each with total focus. Let's say you're practicing chords and you practice 10 minutes of chords every day or 15 minutes. Instead of doing that in your routine of other things, you take chords and then you focus intensely on it for 2 months. And you make it a project. You say, okay, what do I want to learn? And how much focus am I willing to have? Do I want to get to the absolute level of mastery, from beginner to absolute freaking level of mastery with 4 chords? Play them over and over and over again obsessively? Do I want to prove to myself how far I can get in 8 weeks if I have that kind of intense focus? And when I play these 4 chords over and over again, and I don't stop when I can do it. I don't stop when I'm good. I keep going when I'm good. I move it all the way to total effortlessness. What would happen if I did that for 8 weeks in a row? And how am I going to achieve that? How am I going to remember to do that? And then you do 2 months of something else, right? And then you do two months of something else, or 1 month, or 1 week. I don't care. You need to have projects where you have an intense focus over time, and where you focus on getting a result instead of being all fired up about alternate picking for a week, or for a day, or 2 days, or a month. You say, okay, I'm all fired up now. How do I create a project out of my passion for the subject? What exactly do I want to achieve? As far as me, when I discovered alternate picking, I said, okay, I want to learn to pick on 1 string. And that's what I'm going to spend 8 weeks on, just picking on 1 string. So I went, and I was well taught. So I knew from Paul Gilbert that I had to focus on the accents and getting everything right. So I practiced picking on 1 string because I thought that if I can do, right, Ali Miola style, then it would be so much easier for me to play on 2 strings or learn to, right? And that worked completely. But then it became an obsession. It was like, why are you playing those 3 notes again, Claus? My whole family was complaining, right? Because they're tired of hearing that over and over again. But that's what it takes. But just skip the process. I think you follow me now. The result is the same. You practiced 6 things in a routine. But instead of doing it a little each day, 10 minutes each day, which absolutely doesn't work, only to the level of below mediocrity, you need to focus intensely on 1 or 2 things over two months, or 1 month, or 1 week. As long as you can manage to be focused on one thing, right? There might be 2 months, might be 3, might be 3 days. I don't care. Just stretch yourself as far as you can go, and then practice only one thing. By yourself in a room with the metronome, chords, in front of the TV, YouTube, whatever, right? Make it an obsession, a project where you are curious about what will happen if you practice that much on such a small point of skill. That's the way. That's the last group. And if you can gradually move yourself into that group by stopping the dabbling and stopping the practice routine over, you can still do that. Just spend 75% of your practice time on your project, and then spend 25% on, the routine, just to have certainty that you're not leaving one strategy that you're not sure doesn't work that well before you really commit to this, because this is what works. Once you have, it just does. In any endeavor, doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is, right? cooking, whatever, you cook the same dish over and over again and you refine it over and over again for like 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? The thing you learn in the process of making the best curry ever, right? All the thoughts that go into, all the struggles and the mistakes you become so good at that, so that when you try to cook another dish, you'll have so many insights, so many things that you can draw on from your perfect curry, right? So you'll be better at that other dish so much faster. But you drive that dish all the way to perfection, right? You create the best dish you have ever tasted in your freaking lifetime. Why would you go for something smaller when everything is available to you? Why would you settle for, that's a good dish, I'm a good chef? Why would you be a good chef if you can be totally mind-boggling, magically outstanding? Because you can. It's just focus and concentration over time and then setting a high standard for when it's enough, right? Don't stop at good. You deserve more. Anybody does, right? So just get going and gradually see if you can become better and better at having projects instead of dabbling or having practice routines. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.